To all my weaklings out there, that's what Trump thinks of you. You're a weakling. Weakling. Why is that? Because of the hoax, man. God, Bell, it's a giant hoax. You don't even get it.
You know, Epstein wasn't even a real person.
Not even a real person.
He was just AI.
Totally. You know what's funny is the Democrats didn't care about this. Now they're like, we should probably take a look at that. Yeah, the noise is not just noise now. The calls for, okay, we need to have a conversation about this is real. Attacking your supporters is not going well. Calling them weaklings? Not a good thing. And the influencers who, I said earlier why I don't like having politicians on. Yeah, I've had Burchin on once and only talk about UFOs. There was nothing real in that. And then who was the other person I had on? We had Afton on because she would come on and talk about ICE, right? But I don't like. But
Afton's not spoiling for the fight either.
Yeah.
She wants to have conversation.
Yeah, she wants to have a conversation. But and you've got to be able to go after people, and it's tough. But for many of these influencers in particular, they were a part. They felt a part of something. They brought their audience with them. They felt a part of a movement, pushing people in a direction, and they did that. And so for some of them, right, like Dinesh D'Souza comes out and he's like, well, it's time to just get over it, right? Just deal with it.
I'm going to talk about the Epstein files, and I'm going to make the case that even though there are unanswered questions about Epstein, it is in fact time to move on. Part of being on a political team is maintaining a certain amount of maturity, recognizing you can't win them all, recognizing there are some things that are important to you that are less important to the guy that you've put in charge, who is trying to focus on things right in front of him. And so having a sense of perspective, having a sense of balance, having a sense of maturity, I think is more important even than getting to the bottom of what really happened with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, wow. Thanks a lot, man. What a kiss ass. And I feel bad for, like, Charlie Kirk. I know he came out and said, I'm only talking about it once. And they didn't let it go. If you go look at all of these guys' posts and these gals' posts, the people that tried to walk away from this, they didn't get that opportunity. They got absolutely obliterated by their audience. And Trump is getting hammered by people that are super supportive of him. Matt Walsh, right? That's what he said a while ago. Trump has decided suddenly, after years of saying the opposite, that the Epstein files are a hoax. Boring. They don't matter to anyone who talks about them as a bad person and a weakling. He's entitled to his opinion, but the idea that conservatives are obligated to also change on a dime and adopt this new perspective along with him is just madness. It's not even possible. I can't just decide not to care about the issue, even if I wanted to, and I don't want to. And this has landed on him because over the last couple days, first of all, the way they handled this was piss poor. We'll all raise our hand. We can all agree, bad, Bondi, awful. I thought she'd do a better job. She's done a horrible job. And I really had high hopes for her, more than several of the others. I thought, the others, a little bit of kiss ass, I mean, they're sycophants in some way. They're fans. I mean, they're fans of Trump. Not that they're not capable. They were super fans of Trump. Where I looked at Bondi and I thought, you know what? She wasn't. And the way she rolled this out was awful. And the entire time, she's trying out for Fox News. I got news for you, lady. You're not getting on Fox News. You're not getting anywhere. OnlyFans? Oh, Chet, stop it. Only Fox. This is landed on him because he then comes out and says, we're still talking about him, right? Interrupts Bondi last week at the table to go off about how great everything in the world is. It's the best thing of all time and blah, 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 blah. And then yesterday starts talking about the deep state and how this is some sort of delusion by the Democrats, et cetera, and Comey and throwing in all these Mueller and all the, it's a hoax. What's the hoax? All joking aside, what is the hoax? I don't think there's a hoax. This guy existed. There was bad things. You can't tell me that there are, if I'm correct, did she say thousands of videos and pictures of sex trafficking and kids and porn and all this stuff, and that's a hoax? How do you do that? And the more that you protest, the more people are asking questions. And now you've got a lot of people going, all right, this isn't a good thing. We got to have a conversation about this. And how you know it's getting bigger is Dave Smith. I watched him debate, what's Josh Hammer, whatever his name was last week, about Israel at the Turning Point thing, which Charlie got hammered for, which was ridiculous. But he was talking about how young people, remember Turning Point, younger group, Gen Z, some Gen Alphas, some millennials, all there, how they're not letting this go.
But when they're saying straight up that the government is covering up this child rapist intelligence operation, this blackmail ring, they are getting, I mean, it was like the overwhelming majority was with them. It was really something. And when you come out of an environment like that, like this is the most rah Donald Trump's base that there is, you know, like this is you're at the epicenter of like the pro-Trump crowd. And it was kind of stunning to me to see that they are really not going along with this one, even though Donald Trump straight up told them to. They're just not going along with this. So it seemed to me to be a huge indicator that we're on to something with that.
7,000. Charlie Kirk said the same thing. He asked everybody in the room, this big thing, who here thinks that this is a big deal? And he said, to a person, 7,000 people raised their hand. They're not letting this go, nor should anybody else, especially if we were involved. If we were involved in the trafficking because we thought it was better for our country in some weird way, shape, or form, and it was, we weren't supplying the ladies, but we knew what was going on. We were getting information, and we knew. If the Mossad, whoever it is, if that was all somewhat above board in their minds because the better of America and our allies, no, I'm sorry. That's not who we are. I don't want to be a part of any of that. I don't think any of you do either. And for those, and I will be honest. I told my wife, I said, you never know what's going to happen. I said today, the text line, the tweets and stuff, people are going to be pissed and angry. A few of you are, the usual. You know what? I'm going to listen to some. Go ahead. By the way, they're talking about the same thing, and they're frustrated too. Because news for you, it's not a big industry. We know each other. I got several text messages today after he sent out his truth. I keep saying tweet, but it's truth. That people were pissed. People who are staunch supporters of, people who live and love for him and will go to the mat for him said, I'm done. You insulted me. And by the way, going against you because you want somebody to not do what you want, even though everybody's going, yeah, we should really have a conversation about this now. You made it much bigger than it probably should have been as far as the story. That's not weak. And the fact that Republicans are willing to challenge each other makes people strong. We should challenge each other. We should want to know the truth. And a lot of that's on the fact that this became a big issue. There are tweets from him. There are tweets from his son. There are all kinds of J.D. Vance on with Theo Vaughn saying, release the list. And if you guys notice, J.D.'s a little quiet. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, they made a bit of a career in a lot of this stuff. I don't think they were peddling lies. Now, when you get inside, obviously there's some stuff you don't know. But now you're coming out saying it's all a hoax and it's being perpetrated by the Democrats. I find that strange. But the most important thing is, what about the victims? And I've seen some of you who are challenging the victims on the text lines and tweets as if, oh, well, what about them? They're no big deal. Why should we care about them kind of attitude? Why aren't they out there talking? Some of them have talked. Some of them were supplied a little bit of hush money, and some of them were terrified. You're a 16-year-old girl getting trafficked to the most powerful men on the planet? What do you think you're going to be able to do? Out of curiosity. Chances are you don't have a strong family home because nobody's missing you. You really don't have anything, and the last thing you have is a voice and power. And for years, if you brought it up, you were told that never happened. That didn't happen. And quietly, you were given some money to go away. But it doesn't mean that things were great for you. Some of them committed suicide. The victims matter in this, which has been left out. And it shouldn't be. Because the Republicans and this administration, it's all about the kids. It's all about the kids. It's all about the kids. What about these kids? Oh, sure, they're adults now, but they weren't when this happened. So to say, oh, just make it go away, no. The way that you brought this out, the way you rolled this out to everybody was really bad. The fact that you talked about this for a long time, and either two things. Either there's more there, and you don't want it out, or you were lying the whole time, and it was just a great thing to do to push some sort of conspiracy so you could talk about the deep state. Well, this guy went to jail. Then he got out. Nobody knows how he made any money outside of probably laundering it for lots and lots of people. There's a lot that goes into this, and this is the perfect example. If you want to talk about a boogeyman in the deep state, here you go. But you made it way bigger, and now that you're coming out telling everybody, hey, you're a weakling if you believe this, I think you've misread the fact that the beauty of the libertarians, the younger generation in particular, is a little bit more libertarian than conservative, and the conservative is that they should know the difference between right and wrong and be able to go, I have a question. You're now questioning me and my beliefs, and you're now telling me nothing to see here and everything's a hoax, and now you're insulting me? That's a him thing, no doubt. Coming up, a lot of stuff still to get to this hour. Oh, man. We got some interesting stuff. I don't know if you guys heard of this. There was an incident with a doll, and it had nothing to do with that, so settle down. But it is scary. It's one of those kind of things. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Was it really a doll, though, or was it a demon?
We're going to find out. Bell, we're going to have, you know what? Don't ruin the story for me.
All right.
Talk a little bit about that. You can reach out to us. It's National Hot Dog Day. We're going to talk about what the best hot dogs are. Reach out to us at Chad Benson Show is your X, and we've got our poll up there. If you want to text the program, Bell, what do they do?
615-737-9986.
It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Russia rejects President Trump's ultimatum for a ceasefire deal, and an East Nashville hit-and-run victim dies a week after being struck. We'll have those stories at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Somebody said Costco hot dogs suck. First of all, they do not. Shame. Secondly, they're only $1.50. Delicious is that? When you're poor, you got nothing.
Hey, sometimes price does affect quality in terms of how much you're going to like it. And if it's really, really, really cheap, it's hard to complain if it's bad.
If it's super cheap, it's hard to complain, right? Like you get it, you get what you get. Think about Costco's hot dogs. They're not bad. I think they're either Hebrew National, Nathan's, or Kirkland. So it's not like you're getting a bad dog. It's not like you're getting one of those dogs in Bar S. Some of you are like Bar S, but you go there and it's like, their beef dogs are fine, but any hot dog that's just a regular one is like chicken and turkey, and it's like a beak, right?
Well, when they say beef, does that mean it's made with actual, is it byproducts?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
Some are probably more beef than others. I mean, if you're spending $20 for 4 or 5 hot dogs, it's probably a little bit better.
That's probably some steak going on in there.
As opposed to, it's a beef dog, kind of beef. Some beefy thing passed by it. Because, the old It's just entrails, right? Like, it's a hot dog. What's in it? It's entrails. It's I don't know. I think there was a worm. There's a Skittle. A Skittle. So the number one hot dog currently on the board in our non-scientific poll is, and we gave you 3 to choose from or other, 34.8% Hebrew National. 34.8%. Nathan's, 29.3%. Oscar Mayer, 10.9%, and other. I think the thing with Oscar Mayer is that most people just think of the regular old hot dog. Because beef dogs have really become very popular over the last several years. Very, very popular. So it is National Hot Dogs Day. And several places across the country are giving away hot dogs on the cheap or free. So check. I think if you go to some of the gas stations, like 7-Eleven, and some of them are doing some cool stuff.
And don't make me yell at you. Just retweet the survey so we can get a bigger sample.
Yeah, there you go.
We need retweets and likes. Helps the algorithm.
So got some angry people chiming in. Cayman Natural Casing at Publix.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. 2 tweets below that. Why does this Jewish man have an anti-Semitic Muppet on his hand?
Oh, that is so. That was your buddy. Who's your boyfriend? What's his name?
Robert Reich.
Robert Reich. You guys have no. Every day I come in, Bell is getting ready to tweet, and he only tweets at one person every day, and it's Robert Reich, the former what was he, the Secretary of Jobs or whatever,
Secretary of
Labor, whatever the hell it was. And so he tweets stuff, but he was asking why was Elmo being defunded, and I'm like, it's because of his anti-Semitism. You can't have that.
You cannot throw a Sieg Heil and get government funding.
No, you can't. Walmart brand. So a lot of that out there. Applegate Organic Uncured. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Daddy's Dogs, the best hot dogs. So, I mean, yeah, TA free dogs today. Corey's Doghouse in Mount Juliet. They make some good ones. Somebody said that I look up this chili dog, Gold Star chili dog, delicious. So
my only problem with chili dogs is they tend to use the chili to disguise a crappy hot dog.
Yeah,
and then they just smother the thing with chili to where it's like, why don't I just throw the hot dog out and just eat a chili in a bun?
Yeah. So, do you think it's sometimes it is. You're absolutely right. You're right. And you know what? That's the thing about barbecuing hot dogs, too. Barbecuing hot dogs can disguise a nasty dog.
Yes, that is very true.
So you got to be careful about that.
And then, of course, you throw all that mustard on there to help cover it up, too.
It just becomes a delivery. The bun becomes a delivery system for anything but the dog. But I love a good chili dog. You're like, hey, would you like to have to call Busy Bee later? Have a chili dog. Coming up more on, we got some of your texts. Some of you are angry with me, but a lot of you are... You're as angry as I've seen you at this whole situation with Trump, and you've got questions, which I love, and I think we need more of that. You know, questioning our leaders is a wonderful thing. We should not only be able to do that without impunity and out the fear of the tribe coming after you, but you should be able to do that in a way where, look, I want to make this country better, and this is what we do to make things better. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We've got some other stuff on the way, too, including our scary doll story. If you miss any of the show, we say, shame on you. Grab the podcast. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Good afternoon. We are coming up on 2:30, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll have a complete weather forecast here shortly. Russia has rejected President Trump's ultimatum for Moscow to sign a ceasefire deal to end the war with Ukraine within 50 days. Russia's deputy foreign minister said yesterday that any attempts to make demands, especially ultimatums, are unacceptable to us. ABC's Ian Pinnell is in Ukraine.
More weapon systems now to be given to NATO to help Ukraine, and the clock started running on this 50-day deadline for Russia to agree to a peace deal. But for Ukrainians, 50 days is too long. It means more bombing, and the Kremlin's response has already been heard. More attacks tonight.
More than a week after a pedestrian was critically injured in a hit-and-run crash in East Nashville, authorities announced that she has passed away. According to Metro Police, the preliminary investigation indicates a black Hyundai Elantra was traveling northbound on South 5th Street, crossing over Main, and then on to Spring Street when it struck 53-year-old Julie Savoy about 3:30 in the afternoon on Tuesday, July 8th. Savoy, who was soliciting on the concrete median when she was hit, was taken to Vanderbilt University Medical Center where she died. That happened again this morning when she passed away. Law enforcement said the driver didn't stop and fled the scene. After the collision, the vehicle's owner reported the Hyundai had been stolen. Police say they recovered the car in Madison, but police are still trying to identify who was driving the vehicle when it struck Miss Savoy. A former commissioner for the NYPD has sued current mayor Eric Adams and 3 of his associates, accusing the group of running the nation's largest police force like a criminal enterprise akin to the mafia. ABC's Aaron Katursky says that Tom Donlin was trying to clean up the NYPD, but according to the suit, was intimidated from doing so.
It names top brass who are still in positions of power today, and it is seeking damages for what he called a humiliating act of vengeance, the arrest of Donlin's own wife. He said it was orchestrated to send a message to him not to meddle in internal affairs as he was trying to root out corruption in the ranks.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
MyPillow, percale bed sheets on sale. Deep pockets. You're going to sleep cool and comfortable. Made from 100% long staple cotton right here in the United States. So easy to take care of. Now, here's the beauty. 11 different colors to choose from. And they're only $24.98. And that means Queen, $24.98. King, $24.98. Cow King, which apparently is very big, $24.98. We joked the other day, water beds, $24.98. You name it, they've got it all, kids. Just $24.98. So it's not one of those things where you're going to go pay double. Nope, just $24.98. So while supplies last, and right now you go to mypillow.com/Benson to save big. These things are incredible, and those deep pockets are awesome because when you roll over, they don't unfurl and bunch. They don't do any of that. They stay where they're supposed to. Get the percale bed sheets on sale. The biggest sheet sale right now going on at MyPillow. MyPillow.com/Benson. MyPillow.com/Benson. Get your sheets now. MyPillow.com/Benson. So, some of you are asking the question. All right, what's this story here, huh? About this thing that did what? You guys know who Annabelle is? Does anybody here know what Annabelle is? Annabelle in the movie is this porcelain-looking doll. In real life, Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll.
A big one.
Yeah, it's a decent-sized doll. I remember my
Probably 2/3 the size of a person.
Yeah, the smaller person. Not the one that went to the soccer guy's house, but somebody else. Did Annabelle strike?
You can't blame a doll for a jailbreak, right? Or a house fire. Those are, of course, rhetorical questions, but they came up back in the spring, and we talked about them on this show when a supposedly possessed doll named Annabelle was on tour in Louisiana around the time of that mass jail escape and a plantation fire, which, for the record, she had nothing to do with. She's a doll, for God's sake. But she's not just any doll. Annabelle was the inspiration for the movie The Conjuring, which is, in fact, the most successful horror movie franchise in history.
The most successful in history. And they've got 2 Annabelle movies on top of that and another one coming out soon. And Annabelle was, and this is the Warren family, so that you guys don't know, the movies are famous and there's stuff, but the thing that brought them fame, like otherworldly fame, was obviously Amityville Horror. And this doll though, was their scariest and most prized kind of possession. In fact, it's put in a special thing. It's blessed. It's all this crazy stuff. And there's a guy that babysits it.
Yeah, it was in a glass when it was in their homes. It was in a glass case that actually had, in big bold letters, something to the effect of "Under no circumstances touch this case."
Yeah. Don't do this. This thing does all kinds of weird things. It's creepy. So stay away.
According to legend, she moves on her own. She leaves notes for people, and worse. And now some wonder whether she has committed her foulest act on record. On Sunday, a paranormal investigator named Dan Rivera died unexplainedly and unexpectedly while touring Pennsylvania with, you guessed it, Annabelle. He was 54 years old, and he had designed and built the special crate that reportedly keeps Annabelle's demonic tendencies in check. It is covered in crosses. It is painted with a concoction of holy water and paint. So where is Annabelle tonight? Reportedly, she's back at the Connecticut Museum that she calls home, but she does have another tour date coming up, October 4th, in Rock Island, Illinois, and we'll be watching from a safe distance.
They said he just dropped dead. Was it Annabelle? And when they would say they would come and they would have it blessed like once a month or something where what
happened to the good old days when priests would jump out of windows?
Well, that's only when you're going to take the demon because the power of Christ compelled them to.
Gotcha.
So nobody's done that for the Annabelle doll. How do you think? Because in the movie, I wonder if, I don't know who manufactures Raggedy Ann and Andy, but I wonder if in the movie, the Mattel or whoever it is goes, hey, look, can you guys come up with something else that's a little different? Because,
Aurora World.
Yeah. Although maybe it would help you. Said, look, guys, we can do this once. Let's see how this goes. Several of you chiming in. We were talking earlier about, the Trump. This is debacle. This is, of all the stuff, and I said this today on my national show, say what you want about, Trump, good, bad, or indifferent. He's always got a beat on what his followers, and a lot of them are followers, but the supporters too, are about. And I said, this is the first time when I can, since he came down the escalator, where I said, this is leaving a mark. This is leaving a mark. Because the way that he has handled this, and the way that Pam Bondi's handled this, and several of you who are mad at me, first of all, I don't care. I mean, whatever. That's part of the job I do. And if you're not mad at me sometimes, then I'm not doing my job. But you blaming victims is the biggest BS on the planet. You blaming victims. You blaming young girls who didn't come from great homes, who didn't, in many cases, broken homes. That's how they find him. That's how she found him, supposedly. Broken homes. Single family, maybe even inside of foster care kind of thing. Lure them in with plane rides, free stuff. So you blaming people who are powerless. Are you going to blame the kids that were diddled by the priest? You going to do that? No, you're not. The victim shaming, enough. Okay, we get it. You got a man crush on Trump, and he's your Yahweh. But for a lot of people, the insults and the don't protest too much, and that stuff is not just rubbed people the wrong way. People who support him. I want Trump to be a great president. But if he was involved in any way, shape, or form, burn it down, dude. Sorry. And the fact that some of you would be out there thinking about victim shaming, I'm not going to listen anymore. I don't care. Go somewhere else then. Who seems to, because your love of him and you can't see past your face. Oh my gosh. Well, he's better than the alternative. It's all somebody else's fault. No, this is on him, Pam Bondi, the way they've rolled this thing out. And for some people out there, I guess you're fine being lied to. I'm not one of those people. I'm not. Do I know what's in this thing? No, nobody does. Will we ever? Well, apparently there's nothing there. It's all a hoax. That's what I'm being told. That's what he told everybody today. It's just a hoax. He didn't even exist, as Bell likes to say.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work.
Why did the Democrats get? And spare me he's playing 4D chess while everybody else is playing tic-tac-toe with crayons. No, there's more to this. He's stepped into something.
I know exactly how to solve this entire thing.
Tell me.
Put the files out and show us what's in it. If there's nothing there, then we'll look at it and go, well, that was a big
here's my
nothing.
thing. Who gets to decide what the files are? See, because you've come out now and you've thrown all kinds of shade on yourself by blaming everybody else and blaming the Democrats and saying it's all a hoax and it's all made up. What's made up? I don't think up until last week, I don't think too many people thought he was too much a part of any of this. Yes, you'd been on the plane with him a few times. Now, I think it's a lot bigger. I didn't hear you. You got to push the button.
That's what I don't understand is what is the component that's supposed to be the hoax? Which part of this is fake that he's claiming? That there's a list, that there's not a list, that there was no trafficking? Is that the hoax?
Yeah, because if all of those things, like you said, I saw, who was his name? He used to be his good friend, Elon. Elon tweeted out, "What hoax? Put out the files." Oh, there were files, right? Or were you lying to us, Pam Bondi? And you didn't have anything. Is that it? Were you lying to us?
And when she made that whole comment about the child pornography that they pulled off his computer, never, ever going to come out, I think anybody with half a brain doesn't expect the federal government to release child exploitation videos.
That's the dumbest
But that's almost
thing.
like they're using that as a cover to... Not everything that was on his computer was child porn.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. Not everything was. We get that. Like, you guys get that, right? The pictures and the videos weren't just of kids by themselves. So, and it's not just, and the files doesn't mean that there's a list. There's years of stuff. Who was where? Who lied and was in certain places, on certain islands? What powerful people? What if it was the Mossad and CIA? So what? So what? Look, I want us to be a nation that's strong and that can take the truth. And if this truth sucks and it's a scandal that's big and it dents us, let it be that way. We'll be stronger for it on the other side. But to sit here and to victim shame some of these texters who are mad, that's insane. To sit here and to think that somehow these girls should be out there talking about, these are young women who, you know what? Some of them took money and walked away because it was the best they were ever going to do. They were powerless. They didn't have huge law firms behind them. I mean, how long did it take before the scandals came out in the churches? How long did it take before the scandals came out in the Boy Scouts? A long time. Now imagine...
And how long did it take till they quit denying them?
Yes. And how long, by the way, so think about this with the Boy Scouts, with the church. Think about this for a second. Those were people who in many cases were molested and they had families they could turn to. And their families maybe didn't believe them, or they were terrified to go because of the priest and the respect. Think about being a 16-year-old girl with nobody to turn to, with powerful men, not your local priest, people you see on TV. It's a different story. That is. So if you don't like the fact that I'm calling BS on a lot of this stuff and that he's insulted his followers, the people that have turned to him and thought that he was going to be something different, well, good luck. I hope you find what you're looking for. But I want independent, strong-thinking people. And I think the people out there that do support him, who are questioning him, good. You should. We should all. Because you made Either this was the giant lie and it was a hoax and you were a part of it and you pulled the wool over everybody's eyes and you used it, or there is some there with some powerful people. And I'm not saying it's Trump. And we should be able to ask questions. Why aren't people being held responsible? It's funny how they want to hold everybody else in the world responsible but themselves. I thought the whole thing about Trump and the administration is they're getting rid of the swamp and they're doing things differently. I don't feel this is transparent. Coming up, Matt, he's here next. We're going to talk to him about what he thinks is the best hot dog. We'll wrap up the show straight ahead. This is the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. Wrapping up the show on this Wednesday, Matt's in the house.
I hear the cameras working again, so you can.
It is.
You can see me in all my glory.
Who broke the camera?
I'm going to blame Dan Mandis. I bet you that Dan Mandis at some point sat over here. The camera looked at Mandis and went, "Whoa,
whoa!" Or he thought he was being funny and he leaned back and he hit it and it fell apart.
Oh, maybe so.
That's much more exciting than the truth.
Or maybe. Well, actually, I'll tell you what the real truth might be is that that camera,
Epstein?
the guest camera got tired of seeing half of Dan's head in every guest shot that it does on Nashville's Morning.
Oh, so he tried to steal everybody's?
That's even more exciting than the truth.
Absolutely.
Trying to steal everybody's thunder?
Yeah, I tried. No, so Mandis was a topic of conversation in the 6 o'clock hour. He got much love, so I've now come up with a new nickname for Dan Mandis.
Which is?
Celebrity Dan Mandis.
Oh.
Celebrity Dan Mandis was gushed over in the 6 o'clock hour. And look, the caller, God bless you if you're listening. You're very, very sweet. Called Dan. Had listened to Dan, knew Dan from back in California when Dan was the executive producer of the Dr. Laura show. Dr. Laura Schlesinger.
I think Dan was there for the infamous moment.
What is the infamous moment?
Dr. Laura dropped the N-bomb on the air.
Oh, did she really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe so.
Yeah.
I wonder if Dan was in charge. I've never asked him about this.
Does that mean Dan forgot to hit the dub button?
No, I think she didn't want him to.
No, well,
that was the whole point.
Well, Dr. Laura's in charge. But the rumor was always, you know how when the Dr. Laura show was in its heyday, people would call and they would every single one of them would say, "Hello, Dr. Laura, thank you for taking my call."
Yeah.
And the rumor was that they made them. That in order to go on the air, you have to thank Dr. Laura for taking the call.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to I always forget.
You know, I worked for a guy that Robert W. Morgan's one of the famous disc jockeys back in KHJ, the first boss jock. He used to make sure that we coached every single listener to be excited, to do all of these kind of things. You better, you had to say good Morgan, because if you said good morning, he would come and he would cuss us out. I mean, it was that kind of craziness. And sometimes if people would win a prize and he didn't want them to win, he'd be mad at you as if it was your fault that they got it right. Yeah.
Right. Like you had some control over that.
Oh.
It's a theater of the mind.
Oh, back in the day, kids.
Anyway, but Celebrity Dan Mandis is responsible for that camera there. Or Epstein.
National Hot Dog Day. Who's your go-to hot dog?
National Hot Dog. What? I don't know that I can't tell you the last time I had a bad hot dog. I actually caught some of this while I was on the way in before we did the podcast today. And I'm thinking, okay, Hebrew National, great. Oscar Mayer, awesome. Name some other brands. Whatever.
Nathan's.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go.
So I'm just kind of pro. I don't know the last time I had a bad hot dog.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is, we were talking.
Gurney. Go. Let's do it. You know Gurney?
No, Gurney.
Gurney.
I'm unaware
it's
of
like a Southern thing.
Yeah.
I think I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, but whatever.
What do you put on your hot dog, though, Matt?
If I'm dressing it, it's onions and mustard.
There you go. So mustard, you know why they created mustard, as somebody told me earlier? It's to hide the taste of spoiled meat by putting something else that tastes kind of spoiled.
Yeah.
So that was weird.
You think mustard tastes spoiled?
No, that's what compared to if you're biting into something where there's no taste, and it was to hide the taste of the spoiled meat.
Oh, sure, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Because I mean, without all the spices, what does bologna really taste like?
I don't know.
Parts.
No, that's what.
And
I
love bologna.
Yeah. What was Jim Gaffigan saying? If you're eating a steak, something special is happening. If you're eating bologna, you might be special.
I love it. Bologna is the only word in the English language that I mean, it's a food, but it's also an insult.
Yes.
I think that's also a Gaffigan. That's bologna.
God, I have Kodo salami, which just looks like bologna, tastes like bologna, acts like bologna.
But I mean, I don't know that. I mean, if they're done, I think hot dogs are all about the preparation.
That's
when I was a kid, my mother would boil them on the stove.
Okay.
And not the best way to prepare a hot dog.
Barbecue barbecue and also high, just like a run-of-the-mill chicken dog kind of thing, where beef dogs are the best.
Sure.
You can't go wrong with the beef dog.
But put them on a charcoal grill and leave them there too long. That's
it.
my
They're a little crispy.
Yeah, that's what I love to taste. And put some mustard on there. You know what? I'm not a Chicago guy, so I'm not here to tell you that you can't do ketchup. But I feel like you're doing it a little bit wrong.
Yeah.
If you're doing ketchup.
Absolutely. So I'm assuming you talk a little bit about the whole Epstein thing with Trump. Apparently, they're looking at a special prosecutor or something.
What? Who's they? What?
Trump he's open to it. I'm sorry. No. There's no conflict of interest when it comes to. That's why you appoint special prosecutors and stuff like. They look for conflicts of interest inside of who's supposed to be investigating. Pam Bondi doesn't have that. Nobody in the administration does.
No, they're perfectly capable of doing their jobs. They just need to do their jobs.
Yeah, or allowed to do their jobs.
Or they need to step forward to the American people who are their ultimate employers and explain to us why they're not going to do their jobs.
There you go.
As we see it. And look, I did a monologue. I told you, I did a monologue Monday. It was called The Final Word on Epstein because I thought this is going to bed and it keeps getting brought back up. And I'm not the one that's bringing it back up.
No.
And Chad's not the one that's bringing it back up. My man, Donald J. Trump, continues to double and triple down on it. And we'll talk about it. He's still my man. He's still my president. But I think what he said today was a broad misstep.
Yeah, I think this is the first real big misstep I've seen him make with the supporters he has, that they feel it. Because there's a lot of people I've talked to who are like, you know what?
Big split. Yeah,
big split. You guys have a blessed rest of your day. We got you over the hump. We'll do it again tomorrow. Matt, straight ahead.